So here we are. We've reached the end. This is the final Friday the 13th film ever made. There are no other films after this. They didn't continue the franchise. This is the end of the road. So join me in reviewing Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. Let's get spooky. Greetings, everyone. My name is Nightshade. This is the Night Shift, a home for all things spooky. And today we're looking at Friday the 13th, the final chapter, released in 1984. And this is my favorite Friday the 13th film of all time, with Part 6 as just like a very close second. Now, obviously, you know, the intro to this video, it's a goof, it's a gaff, it's a laughing giraffe. This is not anywhere close to being the final Friday the 13th film in the franchise by a long shot. And if this would have been the final Friday the 13th film, I would have been satisfied with the entire franchise. And like I say in all of these films, I'm super stoked to get into talking about my favorite Friday the 13th film, so let's go ahead and do that. For this film, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be breaking it down into two categories, the positives and the negatives. Let you know what I liked about this film and what I didn't like about this film. Then I'm going to tell you what my favorite scene in this film is and tell you exactly why it is my favorite scene. Then we will score this out of 10 and end the video. But here on the Night Shift, we always start things off on the bright side with... So this might be my favorite cast. It's a toss-up between this one, Part 3, and Part 6 as being like the best chosen cast of people, but I do believe that Part 4 has the best cast overall. Corey Feldman and Crispin Glover. Need I say more?
What the fuck happened?
And the rest of the cast is likable as well. There's not a single character in this film that really bothers me, nor does anybody feel out of place at all or too over the top and too hammy. I think everybody that was casted for this film did an immaculate job for, you know, what type of movie this is. A movie of this caliber. The cast in this film, it just works. Everybody does their part. Everybody is as good as they can be for a film like this. And I'm not saying that films like this aren't valid. I don't want to take any credit away from this film by saying a film like this. But what this film is a schlocky 80s slasher, and, you know, as far as schlocky 80s slashers go, you know, the casting is usually not the best, the acting also not the best, but here I think is one of the best of the 80s, in my opinion. This is one of the best ones of the 80s by far. All right, so moving right along into our next positive, we have... You know it. I know it. It doesn't really even need to be said, but I'm going to say it anyways. A bunch of teenagers go to a camp and get murdered one by Jason. But this time we have drama because a child is involved. And even though that is a very simple addition to this film, it does raise the stakes in a Friday film quite a bit, a decent amount. You know, we're all cool with adults pretending to be teenagers dying. That's fine. That's whatever. Fuck them. But whenever you add an innocent kid into the mix, it raises the stakes. It gives it a little bit more edge. Nobody wants to see the kid die, especially Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman is fucking awesome. One of the world's greatest guitar players. You know, adding that little element just adds a little bit more edge to the film, a little bit more stakes. It's like adding, you know, that additional bit of black pepper to your soup or chili. You know, it just gives it that little extra oomph. Little bit of oomph, little something. Even though the plot of this film is identical to the previous three, there is a little bit more edge and a little bit higher stakes, and I think that makes this film just a little bit better. So moving right along into our next positive, which is potentially the biggest positive of this film, even in this franchise. It's one of the biggest positives of all time in this franchise for sure, and that is... I rest my case. So I've actually got a really funny story about those dance moves, and I'm going to break it down to you real quick before we move on to the next positive. 1 second. So when I was in about 4th or 5th grade, I was at a in-school school dance. Now, dancing is not a thing that I do. It's not a thing that I'm into. Never has been, probably never will be. But there was a girl there that I did have a crush on, and she was dancing, so I broke out the moves from Friday the 13th Part 4, thinking that was good. I didn't know it was a joke. I didn't know it was goofs. I didn't know it was I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't have anything to go off of for what good dancing is. So my ass opened up the dance floor as if I was opening up a fucking pit. I opened up the dance floor like I was about to fucking crush it. And I did the same dance because I had it memorized. I knew it. It was a dance that I knew. And, everybody started laughing at me, which I thought was a good thing. I thought that was the end result of what those dances should be. Not knowing that everybody is laughing at me. Not with me, just laughing at me. And, it's really hard to think about now. It's very cringy, and it's bad. Oh, it's bad. Ugh. I'm gonna need a shower after this because this shit, just how cringy I was, just makes my skin crawl. But I felt you guys were cool enough to tell that story too, even though it was at my expense. All right, so before I die of cringe, let's just go ahead and move on to the next positive, which is. So I gotta say that the atmosphere in this one is one of my favorites in the Friday the 13th franchise. I think there's a lot of really, really good atmosphere, especially in the night shots. This film is more bathed in atmosphere than other films. Like, there's way more atmosphere in this film than there was in Friday the 13th Part 3, and part of the reason for that is because the 3D camera needed a lot of light. So in order for the 3D to work, all the scenes had to be very lit up, like very, very lit up, and you're gonna lose a lot of your cinematic edge because of it. But this one was not held down by that 3D technology or that camera technology, so they were able to light these things beautifully, and I think this is one of the most gorgeous looking films in the franchise, in my opinion. I would say this one and Part 6, Part 8, and the remake were like the best as far as cinematic lighting goes. These are the best. These are the best lit films in the franchise, for sure. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to our next positive, which is. So as far as the looks department goes, Friday the 13th Part 4 is my second favorite looking Jason. Just that little axe mark in the forehead with the blood trail dripping down, and then, as the movie progresses, it starts losing more and more chevrons, which I think looks fucking cool. This also might be my all-time favorite Jason in Ted White. I think he is by far the best living Jason, for sure. And the cool thing about this version of Jason is the motherfucker was almost 60 years old. I think he was like 58, 59 when filming this film. And you would not be able to tell. Like, my flabbers were gasted whenever I found out that information. I was like, what the fuck? Like, the dude hauls ass through the whole movie. He just like fucking runs after motherfuckers, and like, I couldn't do that now, and I'm not that old. That man stayed in shape for sure, so I should probably start going to the gym more, so I can do that at that age. But I like that Ted White took his own liberties with the character. He didn't really care about continuity. He just wanted to make his own version of Jason, and honestly, I think his version of Jason is my all-time favorite. Yeah, I would say Ted White and Derek Mears are like my two all-time favorite Jasons, and I know that's going to be blasphemous because, everybody has a hard-on for Kane Hodder. Not that Kane Hodder's not cool. He's awesome. Like, he's a really dope individual, and he seems like one of the nicest people on the face of the earth. And his Jason is fucking cool. Don't get that twisted. It's just, I like these guys a little bit more. And for this to be the last living Jason in this continuity, I think he's pretty awesome. So yeah, Jason definitely had to go on my positives list for sure. And now moving on to my final positive, we have So we get a lot of really good kills, some of the best in the franchise. And the reason they were done so well, again, is because Tom Savini. That's it. Tom Savini. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say because you know. Because you know how beast Tom Savini is. And, you know, he's just one of the best. He's like the Eddie Van Halen of, you know, makeup gore. Like, there's nobody else that even comes close. And that is my opinion, and I am sticking to it. However, you know, Christopher Nelson, very close second. I fucking love Christopher Nelson. So the kills in this one are all very cool. Some of my favorites of all time. And, you know, I don't take it back. They're some of the best in the franchise. And with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the not so bright side of the list with... Whenever it comes to negatives for this film, I have none. So this film for me is like the peak of the Friday the 13th franchise. That, I mean, we get a good film in, you know, part 6, but like after that, you know, they all start to go downhill bit by bit. And so this is like the cream of the crop. This is everything that the past 3 films accumulated up to be, and this, in my opinion, is the best film in the franchise, and this is the best version of a Friday the 13th that we have gotten thus far, which of course is my opinion and my opinion alone. You are obviously welcome to disagree with me, but for me, I think that this is the most Friday the 13th that ever Friday the 13th. The fact that I was able to say that without stuttering at all is amazing. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and go into our next segment of the video, which is... So my favorite scene in this film is Jason's death. I think it is done very well. There's a lot of things going on here, like, you know, it's the closure of the movie. I like that, you know, they toyed with Corey Feldman going into the dark side of the human psyche, which I do appreciate. You know, he goes upstairs, he shaves his head, and comes back to mimic what Jason is to try to, like, bamboozle him or whatever. You know, that plan actually works, and he ends up getting a machete to the face, revealing his gruesome makeup underneath. And this is one of my all-time favorite Jason unmasked looks. I think that this is a really creepy, really, you know, kind of asymmetrical, fucked up looking Jason, and I love it. But then he gets the machete to the side of the face and then, you know, hits the ground and slides down it, and I really like the puppeteering work that they did with, you know, his face still moving and you know, giving worried expressions or painful expressions. And then whenever Corey Feldman picks up the machete and just fucking goes to town to make sure the motherfucker's dead. Don't be afraid to double tap if you are in a dangerous situation. Only if you're in a movie. This bit of advice will not hold up in a court of law, so just don't listen to me on that. And I love it. It's a well-composed scene. I thought it was shot really well. I love the lighting of this scene, the puppeteering in this scene, and what the scene sets up for the next film. So, you know, hats off to Friday the 13th Part 4. And that's just about going to do it for me, so let's go ahead and score this film. When it comes to the final chapter, for me personally, this film is a solid 10 out of 10. I think that this is the pinnacle of the franchise. This is everything that this franchise set out to be, and it did it very well. So this, for what these films are, this is the best of all of those. So that's just gonna about do it for me. If you liked the video, let me know by leaving me a like. Comment down below what you want to see on the channel next. I will do my best to accommodate, I really will. And until next time, my name is Nightshade. This has been The Night Shift, and I will see you in the next video. Stay spooky, my friends. Hello there. So sorry for the lack of videos last week. There was a series of unfortunate events that led me to not be able to film everything. So in order to make it up for you guys, I'm going to be doing a bonus video this week. It's going to be an unboxing, and it's one that is super cool. I've already shot it, so I don't have to worry about running out of time to film or whatever. So, you know, it's going to be good. It's taken care of already. And for this one, we're going to be doing worn shots as well, because the weather has been absolutely beautiful. No longer cold, so I'm no longer worried about my camera freezing. See, what else do we have here? I've got a really cool announcement coming up soon. I don't know when that's going to drop, but it's going to drop pretty soon, and I'm really stoked for it. I've already shot that video as well. And out here shooting a bunch of videos before I even started the main video for Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know what day this video is going to drop, because I do have a passport appointment later on today, which is Monday, and I don't know if I'm going to be too tired after work because I have to work tonight. So we'll see. Hopefully this comes out on Tuesday. Hopefully I can power through and get this out to you guys on our regularly scheduled release days, because it drives me crazy whenever that doesn't happen. So yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot the next video, which is going to be Friday's video, which is obviously going to be part 5. So yeah, until then, I will catch you guys on Friday, but not the 13th. I wish it was, because that would be awesome. Peace.